Some people walk into a room and you feel it, something shifts. They're not loud, not flashy, but they carry a calm power, a kind of ease that makes you lean in. You want to know what they're about. You feel safe. You feel seen. You don't remember everything they said, but you never forget how they made you feel. And here's the truth, they didn't get that effect by faking it. They weren't trying to impress anyone. They didn't try to win approval by wearing a different mask for every room they walked into. No, they learned the secret most people never discover. You don't earn people's respect by performing. You earn it by being real. Authenticity is magnetic, but not the version we throw around on social media. Not the look at me, take me as I am kind that's just another form of self-centeredness. No, true authenticity isn't about proving who you are. It's about being grounded enough that you don't need to. You see, there's a rare kind of confidence that comes from knowing who you are and not needing to shout it. This isn't about arrogance. It's not about dominance. It's not about being liked in the shallow, people-pleasing sense. It's about something deeper. It's about being the kind of person others feel safe with. Not judged, not compared, not manipulated. When you're authentic, people don't feel pressured to be perfect around you. They breathe easier, they speak freer, they trust faster. And in a world full of noise, that is power. But let's be honest, being real in a world that rewards performance isn't easy. We're taught from the start to win approval by shape-shifting. Be the quiet one in one room. Be the funny one in the next. Be agreeable, impressive, charming. And slowly the cost adds up. We forget the sound of our own voice. We trade connection for applause. But connection doesn't grow from performance. It grows from presence. Ask yourself, when was the last time someone really listened to you? Not to reply, but to understand. That moment, rare as it is what we're all hungry for. And the people who can offer that, those who listen without judgment, speak without pretending, lead without ego, those are the ones we remember. And here's the best part. That kind of presence is not a gift you're born with. It's a skill, a muscle. And like all muscles, it grows through quiet, consistent effort. Dale Carnegie understood this before psychology had a name for it. He didn't teach people to dominate rooms. He taught them to open hearts. He believed and proved that the most influential people in the world are not the ones who speak the most, but the ones who listen the best. Not the ones who know all the answers, but the ones who ask the right questions. Not the ones who win arguments, but the ones who win trust. Because here's the paradox of influence. The more you try to impress someone, the less impressive you become. But the more genuinely curious you are about them, the more magnetic you become. You don't have to be brilliant, beautiful, or bold to be liked. You have to be interested, not interesting. You have to show people they matter, not just in your words, but in your attention. Abraham Lincoln, arguably one of history's most beloved leaders, wasn't admired because he spoke often, but because he spoke wisely. And more importantly, he listened deeply, even to those who opposed him, even to those who insulted him. That's power. Not to shout louder, but to stay calm when others raise their voices. Not to demand respect, but to command it through grace, dignity, and quiet strength. If you want to be liked without pretending to be someone else, start here. Drop the armor. Drop the act. Show up curious instead of clever, interested instead of impressive, present instead of perfect. When someone's talking, don't plan your response. Give them your presence. Watch what happens when you stop waiting to talk and start hearing what they're really saying. People don't remember what you say nearly as much as they remember how they felt in your presence. Make them feel understood. Make them feel valued. Make them feel like they matter, not as a means to an end, but because they do. You'll be unforgettable, not because you tried to be, but because you were real in a world full of roles. And the irony is, when you stop trying to be liked and start trying to understand, people will like you more than ever before. You don't have to be loud to be seen. You don't have to always agree to be accepted. And no, you don't have to shrink yourself just to fit into their mold. People aren't drawn to perfection. They're drawn to something far more rare, that quiet energy that says, I see you, I hear you, and I'm not here to compete, I'm here to connect. It's magnetic because it's real. And in a world full of filters, edits, and polished performances, real is revolutionary. Let me tell you something strange but true. The more you try to be liked, the less people feel connected to you, because they sense the performance. They feel the pressure behind your smile. And deep down, they know it's not the full you. We don't trust masks. We trust stories. We trust flaws. We trust humanity. So stop rehearsing every interaction like it's a script you'll be judged on, and start showing up like you're already enough. Because you are. People remember how you make them feel, not how flawless your delivery was. They remember the warmth in your eyes, not the title on your resume. They remember the courage it takes to be real in a world that rewards fake. You don't need to be louder. You need to be clearer. Clear about who you are. Clear about what you value. Clear that you're not here to win popularity. You're here to build connection. And that clarity, it's contagious. When you stop apologizing for who you are, you give others permission to stop hiding too. This is what it means to be liked by anyone, not by being what they want, but by being who you really are. The people who matter will feel it. The people who don't, they were never your people. So let that sink in. Most people walk through life wearing a dozen different faces. The professional face, the polite face, the everything's fine face. And the truth is, they're exhausted. Exhausted from hiding, from shrinking, from trying to guess who they need to be, instead of just being, but here's something they were never told. Your authenticity is your greatest influence because it resonates, it vibrates, it cuts through noise like truth through silence. Have you ever met someone who just made you feel at ease? Not because they were flashy or impressive, but because they were present, because they weren't trying to prove anything, they were just there? That's not charisma, that's alignment. When your insides match your outsides, when your voice matches your values, that's when people lean in, that's when trust begins. Because people don't remember perfect words, they remember real feelings. And you don't need to craft a personality just to be liked. You need to reveal the one you buried under all that performance. Take a breath, let that sink in. Every time you speak from a place of truth, you remind others they can do the same. Every time you admit you're not perfect, you make space for others to breathe. And isn't that what connection is? A space where no one has to pretend, where no one's competing, performing, posturing, just showing up as they are, and being met without judgment. That's the kind of presence that sticks with people. Not because it's loud, but because it's true. But maybe you've spent years hiding the parts of yourself you thought no one would understand. The awkwardness, the quietness, the fear that if they really knew you, they'd walk away. You're not alone. We've all been there, hiding what's real to protect what's fragile. And yet, it's those very things, our so-called flaws, that make us unforgettable. Because people aren't moved by perfection. They're moved by courage. The courage to be seen, to be honest, to say, this is me, even if it's messy. You see, when you speak from your center, something incredible happens. People start dropping their masks too. They relax, they open up, they feel safe. Because you've shown them, not told them, that they don't need to perform. They just need to be. And that's magnetic. We live in a world starving for sincerity, drowning in noise, filters, branding, pretending. But sincerity, that's rare, and rare things are valuable. Let them feel your sincerity, not your strategy. Let them feel your presence, not your polish. Because when someone feels seen by you, not analyzed, not judged, not corrected, but seen, that moment stays with them. It changes the tone of the room. It calms the tension. It makes people say, I don't know why, but I trust this person. That's not charm. That's not manipulation. That's integrity. And here's the twist you didn't expect. The moment you stop trying to be liked is the moment you become lovable. Not because you figured out the perfect thing to say, but because you're finally speaking from a place that's real. You don't have to perform to be powerful. You just have to mean what you say. That's where real presence comes from. Not volume, not dominance, not showmanship. Presence comes from alignment. When your words match your values, when your silence holds more weight than someone else's shouting. When people lean in, not because you're loud, but because your truth is unmistakable. That's what makes people respect you. Not just like you, respect you. There's a difference. People may laugh at clever jokes, but they remember how you made them feel safe. They may be dazzled by charisma, but they follow those who listen. So if you want to be someone they trust, start here. Be so deeply rooted in who you are that no compliment inflates you and no insult deflates you. This is what confidence looks like. Not a performance, not a posture, just presence. You walk into a room and your energy says, I'm not here to compete, I'm here to connect. I'm not here to impress, I'm here to understand. I'm not here to win, I'm here to serve. Because the most powerful person in the room isn't the one demanding attention, it's the one who gives it. The one who sees others, really sees them. That's what Dale Carnegie taught, that the secret to winning people over is to stop trying to win and start caring. Not acting interested to get what you want, but actually genuinely caring. Because that's the difference between manipulation and influence. Sometimes the hardest part of being yourself is what happens when others don't like it. You speak your truth and silence answers back. You draw a boundary and they call you difficult. You stop chasing and suddenly they stop calling. And in that moment, it's tempting to retreat, to smooth the edges. to shrink yourself back down just enough to fit into the space they feel comfortable with. But hear this, please hear this like your future depends on it. If you have to abandon who you are to be accepted, it's not worth being accepted. Because that kind of approval, it's rented, it's fragile, and it disappears the moment you stop performing. Instead, build relationships where your silence is respected as much as your speech, where your no is honored as much as your yes, where you're not liked because of what you offer, but because of who you are, even when you have nothing to give. This is where true confidence is born, not from applause, but from self-respect. Not from being liked by everyone, but being known by a few deeply. And I'll tell you something, the people who truly matter in your life, they won't need you to be perfect. They won't need you to always agree. What they'll need, but speak with clarity, not noise. Listen, but listen to understand, not to reply. Connect, but not by changing who you are, by revealing who you are. Because that's how trust is built. Not with tricks, not with charm, with truth. You may not win the crowd every time, but the ones you do reach, they'll stay, they'll remember, they'll grow with you. Look, you were never meant to be everyone's favorite. You were meant to be real, and being real means being misunderstood sometimes. Means being alone in rooms full of people who only know the version of you they're comfortable with. But that's okay, because authenticity doesn't need a spotlight. It grows in quiet spaces, in eye contact, in kind gestures, in staying soft when the world tells you to harden. You want to be liked, truly liked? Then don't perform, relate. Don't impress, connect. Don't chase people, invite them. Invite them into your presence, into your warmth, into your boundaries, into your truth. That's how you build something that lasts. Not by pretending to be someone else, but by having the courage to be exactly who you are, especially when it's uncomfortable. Dale Carnegie once said, "You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming genuinely interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you." That's it. That's the code. So slow down, be curious, look them in the eye, ask better questions, listen with your whole being, and when you speak, speak like you're not trying to win, you're just trying to understand. Because people don't remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel. Make them feel seen, make them feel safe, make them feel like they matter. That's how you become magnetic, that's how you lead, that's how you're loved for real. Not by becoming louder, but by becoming truer. So the next time you feel the urge to edit yourself, pause, breathe. Remember, your worth doesn't depend on their reaction. It lives in how you show up. Not to impress, but to impact. Not to be someone else, but to be you, fully. And the ones who feel that, the ones who see that, they'll stay. They'll rise with you, and together, you'll build something rare. Not just influence, intimacy. Not just followers, loyalty. Not just approval, love. All by being who you already are. Speak like it matters, because it does. Speak so they feel understood, not judged. And watch how the world changes, one conversation at a time. So the next time you speak, speak from stillness. Speak from strength. Not to convince, but to connect. Because the people who matter most, they don't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be present. In a world full of noise, be the voice that brings people home to themselves. One word, one pause, one honest conversation at a time. Not everyone will understand you, but the right ones will. And when they do, you won't just be liked, you'll be trusted. That's the real power. Not being the loudest in the room, but the one they remember. Because when you spoke, they felt understood.